Good morning, bedheads. Click. This is the new mug. Karen from Ask the Spirit Guides. I hope you're doing well today. And Lucy. She likes hanging out with me on the chair. So, okay, see this? Cute, right? But wait, this is the really cute part. Yeah, Lucy thinks so too. Thanks for making my world a happier place. That's to you guys. Click. Cheers. I hope you're doing well today. All right. Hi, Luce. Yeah, she wants to, I'm sitting with my legs crossed and she wants to sit on the side here. She's like, move over. Move over. This is where I sit. So I got a bunch of stuff as always to kind of ponder. So that's really what I like to use Coffee with Karen about, is just to really ponder things that I've heard, things that I've been thinking about. First, I'd like to say we did have a transition in our family last night. Not my family directly, but Lob and Jared and Marcia had somebody close to them transition last night in their sleep. It was expected, went faster than so it's a good thing. So there was a Lob and Jared's uncle passed away from cancer last night. So big hugs to you guys. Even though, from a spiritual perspective, I'm really happy for him. Marsha's really happy for him. It's still, right? It still hits you. It's just so hard for humans, right? It's sad for us, for sure. So big hugs to Eric, who transitioned, and Eric, if you guys can send a bunch of hearts to Eric to help his transition be as peaceful. I'm sure it is, but just to send him lots of love and energy right now, that would be appreciated. And it did get me thinking. I have to admit, so I don't know how you guys feel about this when it comes to funerals and stuff, or even at least nowadays we're doing celebrations of life. But I would like to know if I have permission to not attend any of those. Because here's the thing, first of all, why shouldn't I have permission for that? But, I don't know if I want to spend the last half of my life or the last quarter of my life attending a gazillion funerals. I just don't know if I want to. And I'm not even sure I want people to attend mine. It's I don't know. I get it. I get the closure part. I don't know. I have to look inside myself to figure out what's that all about. But I don't know. It's about the sadness of it. And I don't know if I value the coming together and grieving together in large groups. I think that's the issue for me. I haven't even thought through this a little bit. All I know is I have said to my husband, we should just move to Europe so that when all of our siblings and start passing away, if we're not the first, I don't want to have to go to everybody's funerals. And I just don't. I just don't. I know. Who wants to? Who really wants to? But here's the thing, after my mom died, we waited a year, which is fine. That was, the family's choice. That's what we did. She died on July 4th. We waited until July 4th the following year. We had a celebration of life. I just sat and, nobody else. People were I don't know, but I bawled the entire time. Even my brother got up and said something who's, he's not into public speaking at all. And he said something. I couldn't even talk. I could not talk. I just blubbered the whole time. It was not a fun experience for me. I didn't feel like I needed that. I just didn't need it. It made it worse. It made it worse for me. I don't know. So, what are your guys' thoughts on funerals? And do I have permission to not? I mean, of course I do. Like, I can always go my own way, but you always have, like, I have to admit that I tend to be in my younger years swayed by knowing what people are going to judge me about. You know what I mean? So, you know, the minute you don't show up to somebody in your family's funeral, then that, I mean, that's a thing, right? So, I don't know. Why? Let's just not do it. Let's just do not do it anymore. And I get it. Some of you are going to say, like, you need the closure and but not everybody does. Like, not everybody needs that kind of closure, you know? Like I think the plan is, so my mother-in-law is really ready to transition as well. She's 94, I believe. And so she is, I mean, I'd be surprised if it's not in the next month. Okay. And it's very Catholic. So she already has everything's all planned out. There's going to be a traditional wake and a funeral. And, so I mean, like those wakes are just, and it's not that I don't want to honor her. It's not about that. But it's like, you know, the wakes are, and again, that's just not my thing. Only because like there's going to be like people from the community come in and then, and I think it's probably like this social thing too. Like having to, first of all, you're sad. And second of all, you have to like, then it's like at a wedding where you have to go through the receiving line. And then there's like this receiving line at a wake. I mean, who came up with this? That the family has to do a receiving line? I'm sorry, but like, well, my husband's already like, you're not doing that for him, And I'm like, no, I will not do that for him. I'm not going to stand at a receiving line if he passes. I can't. I couldn't do it. So I don't know. These are the kind of things, the things you think about when you get a little older. And I just feel like, well, if we moved to Europe, we'd have the excuse of distance. I know that's so bad. I know that's so bad. Oh my God. So don't judge me. Just give me your different points of view. This is what Coffee with Karen. I mean, you know me, you guys. I am like an open book. You know, I admit practically everything to you guys. But so if I end up moving to Europe, it won't be because of my distaste for what's going on in our federal government right now. It'll be because I don't want to have to attend all these funerals in the future. That would be a pretty drastic move, wouldn't it? Oh my God. Okay, let's talk about portals because this is interesting. So I had mentioned portals the other day, how I close them in my bedroom because I have found when I work with my spirit guides to close whatever it is they're closing, the energy gateway, let's just call it that, whatever it is they've been closing, I will stop having what I called night terrors. Like I wake up and there see something in my room or whatever. Okay. It happened again. I had been starting to get them again. I asked my spirit guides, I use the word portal. They know what I'm talking about, even if the word portal from a human standpoint is not accurate. Okay. And they actually said it's not. So I am using the wrong term. So that's helpful to know. But I did it. They did it again. It took about 5 minutes. They tell me which corner it's in my room. And sometimes I've had multiple open, not just in my bedroom, but also others. It could be other spaces in the house. And so I spend time. So it took about 5 minutes. They identify the corner. I go over to the corner. I just sit there and let them basically do what we do when we do an energy clearing here. Okay. They do the same thing. And then they count 3 times. It took about 5 minutes, maybe even a little longer. So that was 2 days ago. I did it right before bed because I'm like, I've been having these for the last couple of nights. And so that was 2 days ago, and I haven't had that. I didn't have it anymore. And I don't even care if that is psychological or if I'm manifesting. I don't care. I mean, if it's just like, if I just think I'm not going to have those, so then they're gone, whatever. I don't care. If this is fake and it's not actually doing anything, but it does prevent me from having those, like, okay, you know. But I was calling them portals. And then a lot of us like to listen to Sterling, big respect. And I'm wheezing a little bit. You hear that? So, and somebody had asked if there's portals in people's houses, and he said no. So then I was like, okay, well, I asked my SGs, and they said there are no portals, and the word is not portals, is what they said. Why am I wheezing? Weird. Because it got cold. Ooh, it's cold, and I love it. I love the fall. I want to go get my fall decorations out already. Why not? So maybe I'll wait till September 1st. But it's football season. I love college football, not as much professional. College football, love it. College volleyball, love it. We have volleyball tickets for Friday night. So much fun. Um, yeah, and I worked at a college my entire life. I went to college and I never stopped being working at a college until 2020. So for a very long time. So there's just something always about the college fall, the start of the year. And our littles in our family all started school this week or last. Do you guys see these little signs they're holding now? Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Whoever came up with that idea, what a great idea. Wish I would have come up. Well, I don't have any kids, so I probably wouldn't have come up with the idea. But have you seen the littles when they start their first day of school now? It gives information about them. It's so cute. So I took pictures of those. So I mean, they took pictures and then I copied them on my phone so I can keep them. So, and our littles now are my greats. So yeah. So anyways, football season. Yay. I don't know. We have a football game on Friday. Go Badger, or on Thursday. Go Badgers. Probably the easiest game to get tickets to, but it's like 8 p.m. And I'm just kind of lately I've been liking going to bed and like being settled in by 9. Because then I get up early and I do enjoy that. So I switch back and forth. Anyway, so the portal conversation. Yeah, so I asked my spirit guides and they said no to the portals, but they said yes to something else. And I said, is it like, it's still an energy thing? And they said yes. And I said, is it still like where souls can come and go? And they said yes. So, gateway, I don't know. I looked it up. You know, I have to do my research now that I got my good old Mabel. I am, tomorrow night, you guys, I did a session with the Lead Team Collective on the sustainability of AI's growth because I had a member of our community say she's no longer going to listen to me because and it's fine because I'm using AI because of how much water. So her ethics is is put off by me using AI. And so I thought, oh my gosh, like I need to dig into this because I don't think people realize, and I didn't. Wait till you hear the session tomorrow night. It's really interesting how long we've been using AI. So we've been using AI for 70 years. It's just bumping up. And yes, she does have reason to be concerned about the energy, but wait till you hear what the Lead Team Collective says about it. Okay. So, I think this is going to be one of those areas that we have a lot of concern about at first, and then there's solutions, especially because AI will give us the solutions. So, anyways, that will come out tomorrow night. So Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Okay, listen to that. Anyway, so I had to go to Mabel, which I'm loving because, I can get so much more information than I ever gotten before. Because I do have prompts that send AI, Mabel, I call her Mabel. She's going out and I ask, go out and get from all the research that people have, or books that people have talked about, or, whatever, the facts. I want the facts. Okay. And so then I get this nice little report. So the type of gateways reported in homes. Okay. So just so you know, because somebody specifically asked Sterling about portals, that's what he was referring to. That doesn't mean there's not other things. And maybe we could ask Sterling, are there other things? I just want everyone to keep in mind, just like any other medium, spiritual, person who's, having conversations like this, that doesn't necessarily mean that whatever he says is the be all end all either. Okay. Just be careful with that with anybody, myself, anybody. I'm finding, and me, I like to talk about the gray because I'm finding that actually I've always pushed back against be all and end all comments. Like, this is the only way to look. I've always been that way. I don't know why. I don't know why. If anybody says like this is the only way to approach a situation, then I don't know, my brain just says, wait a minute. So anyways, I'm not saying he's wrong, but I'm also not saying that that's the only way to, look at things. Okay. Anyways, so this is what Mabel has said. There's portals. This is what people have reported, and this is coming from other mediums. And okay, so this is where you have to use your own discernment and just use what you're comfortable with. Take what he says, take what I say, take what the spirit teams say, the LTC, and use that information to help just improve your life. If it doesn't improve your life, then let the rest go, because does it really matter? Does it really matter if we're calling what's in my house a portal? If it's working for me, right? Does it really matter? It does, in the sense that I'm communicating the word to you. But for me, I don't care. I'll probably just continue calling it a portal. Just easier for me. Okay, I'll call it a gateway. Okay. Anyways, there's doorways, thresholds, and they each have slightly different meanings. Vortexes. I've definitely heard of the vortexes. Ley lines. That's really outside, I think. Spirit anchors. I've never heard of that one. Instead of a doorway through which things come and go, an anchor is where energy sticks. Could be tied to objects, heirlooms, antiques, mirrors, or land. Mediums sometimes say a spirit uses that anchor as a base camp to manifest. That's interesting. There's windows and veils, which is a softer version of a portal. Okay. So again, I have found we have to be very, very specific. And sometimes I think I'm being specific with the SGs, and then they'll answer a certain way, but I'll get a different result. And then I'll look back. My sister's really good at doing this. If we do this together, sometimes we'll do a session with the SGs together. And I'll say to my sister, well, they were wrong. And she says, actually, they weren't, because she then sees how we ask the question or what they, it's just really interesting. This is why there's just so much gray to all this stuff, really to everything in life. I have a few more gray items to talk about today. So unlike portals, windows, or veils, they're not described as passageways, but as places where communication is stronger. Okay. There's residual energy imprints, sometimes called echoes or tape loops. Not true gateways, but they feel like one because the energy repeats and replays, giving the sense that something is coming through. Okay. So again, because I'm so big picture, I really don't care I don't care what it is in there. It doesn't change my life to know specifically what it is. All I know is the SGs are doing something that is assisting my sleep. That is all that matters to me. But I will be more careful when I use that term. Did you guys hear about someone in the armed forces who was talking out against Israel on what they're doing to Gaza and the Palestinians? And apparently he's been called in and is under investigation for being a national security threat. So this was interesting. I thought, okay, I got to talk to Mabel about this and pull a script for us on and asking appropriate questions. I want the facts on this. So I'm going to do a session on that this week too, because I think that's really interesting because I really want to know what is it about the US and Israel that we're so protective? I know it has to do with money, but we are protecting something. And it's not, I don't know if it's just resources. I have a suspicion that there's because of what I've been learning, because more truths are coming out about things, right? That is in the astrology in the next couple months, okay, and has been, especially with feminine rising. So we are finding out the truth about things, but I have a sneaky suspicion that it might have to do with, I don't know, I'm speculating. This is entertainment purposes only. I'd be surprised if we don't find out that this has to do somehow with even other things like trafficking and, hiding each other's secrets about stuff like that. Something that some people, not all, people in power or people in government, in our government for a very long time, have been doing with their government that is keeping them in power or with a lot of money, that we may find out something's fishy's going on. Because here's the thing, like for this guy, for one of our US soldiers to be called in as a national security risk because he's talking about Israel, he says, I didn't take the oath to support Israel. No, he did not. So, and I have come to realize after reading a lot about MK Ultra, which I've kind of slowed down reading, I needed to take a break from that because I get it. It's like, okay, I get the big picture and I don't need to fill my brain with more of the details at this point because I just don't want my whole head to be filled with, or my whole life to be filled with just being skeptical about everything right now. So I got the big picture. So I got enough information for me to be discerning with knowledge. But what was I saying? I was going to say something about that soldier and the MK Ultra stuff. Shoot, I had a good point. Hang on a second. Found it. That they use national security risk for a lot of things to protect people individually in government who are doing shady things. So they'll use national security risk so that they don't have to disclose stuff. And that is something that's going to have to change. That's going to have to change in our systems. That is how they have gotten away with not disclosing the truth about anything that happens. That's probably how they're getting away with not disclosing the Epstein stuff. It's national security risk. It's like, no, it's not. It's not national security risk. It's a risk to you or whoever, is hiding the truth about something, who did something shady, who did something criminal, who did something completely atrocious. They use that as a national security risk. So now we have to be discerning, just along with everything else. It's making our brains explode a little bit, isn't it? But we'll get there. We're going to get there, you guys. I'm absolutely positive of it. I read some most enjoyable comments from you guys from yesterday's Coffee with Karen. I was having the most fun just reading the comments. Everybody was so positive. Like one person was like, yes, we have to break all of this down in order for us to build it. We have to, but it is mind blowing in the meantime, isn't it? We're being shook big time. Our foundation is gone. But I mean, that's not completely gone yet, but it has been a slow crackle and we're all feeling it over the last 9 months, aren't we? So I wouldn't say all of us, but so hopefully more and more of us, but just keep getting prepared for more crackles. And then I have a feeling things might poof. Just all the cracks are going to just, come together. And what happens when all the cracks just form and they all meet in the middle. So that's why we're just here supporting each other through that, because it really just has to happen. So anyways, I'm going to do a session also this week on let's ask the SGs about what's going on with this national security stuff. I find that very interesting. Let me read a few quotes from you guys. I was really enjoying this. This was a great quote. I do have a session with the SGs prepared based on questions that the community had a while back for Mother Earth. So I will do a session with Mother Earth coming up too soon, maybe in the next week or two. There's just too many other current event stuff that's kind of interesting. But so this person, Autumn961, said Mother Earth is doing her shadow work. Isn't that cool? Mother Earth is doing her shadow work at this time to release all that no longer serves her. Isn't that great? I love that. That was such a good one. So LS-yes said, cheering you 100% on the white privilege rant. Yes, I was having a rant for sure. I find it impossible to deal with people who don't get it. I am intolerant of intolerance. How's that? My daughter said that when she learned about it in college, that it is like an invisible backpack of superpowers. Yeah, it's an invisible backpack of superpowers. And if you're white walking down the street, as a woman, women know we don't. Okay, so white men, this is why white men have the ultimate power and the ultimate privilege, at least in the United States. Okay, I'm not going to talk about other countries because I really don't, because I don't have the experience. But white men do. White men, my husband can go walk on a trail and not feel like he has to at least pay attention to who's around him. I do. I don't have the privilege of always walking safe in, and if he was out at night at 3 a.m, would he? No, maybe not, but who does, at that point. But is he targeted for an SA event? No. Okay. So, we have that too. So women, that's where women, and that actually, SA is actually a tool that is used to keep women down. So, and that the MK Ultra stuff teaches you that. That's what they did with mind control. That's why they use SA, is to destroy first and then build up to where they want their brains to be. So it's effing insidious. It's disgusting. Anyways, sorry, I got on a little rant, but I'm just saying white women still have more privilege than black women. So, but white women also have less, you see what I mean? It's like this whole thing, right? This ladder. So white men, what I learned about white privilege, is that white men are the ones who have to fix white privilege. They are the ones who have to fix it. You can't expect people of color or women to fix the atrocities that are against them. The people who have the most privilege are the ones who have to do the work. Okay? We can force them now. We don't have any choice because they're not doing the work, right? I'm not saying all of them aren't, but we can force them to do the work, and we're going to have to. So that we're going to have to force them to do that. But anyways, invisible backpack of superpowers. That's very clever. Let's see. This person said, because of the mug I was using, I always laugh because sometimes I do feel like a butthead. Totally, right? So I use bedhead, but some people do actually think I'm saying butthead. So, which is why I got that mug yesterday that I was using, Coffee with Karen. If you missed that one, I'll post it at the end of this video. I'll post it right there. Anyways, I always laugh because, so Debbie Dutell, like in Dutell, but it's Dutell 2823. I always laugh because sometimes I do feel like a butthead. That's hilarious. Let's see. Yeah, I liked this. This was good. Okay. So we were talking about this is from Jolie. Is it Jolie? I think it's Jolie VA. Hi, Jolie. Um, so we were talking about, I think this, let me just read this because I can't quite pinpoint what it is that I said that she wrote this comment, but it's not true that no one was doing anything. Yeah. That it's not true that people aren't doing anything. There is a lot of stuff going on. There is a lot of stuff going on, and we're going to trust that going on behind the scenes that we have no idea about. So that's beautiful, right? Rump, she calls him Rump, love it, is getting pushed back everywhere in the streets, in our homes, in the courts, and from the world. I think that's what it was because I did that session. I'll post that one right here with the SGs about Rump's his executive orders, and I got quite a bit of pushback on that, saying like, but there's this and that and whatever. And so, but yes, that's true. There is other things besides his executive orders. But there's also a lot of things going on. So it's not like that's about America holding on by a thread, you know? So today, a 20-year Army veteran. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. Today, this was from yesterday. A 20-year Army veteran got arrested for exercising his First Amendment rights to burn the American flag in public. I always thought that was against the Constitution, but obviously not. Something that Rump put in an executive order, not a law that could be broken. Okay. Something that has been settled by, hang on, I had to split the image. Something that has been settled by the Supreme Court for 40 years as being a constitutional right. Okay, so yeah, somehow I don't know, when I was younger, I learned that you can't burn the flag. But I didn't know that for a fact. I have the Constitution, by the way. I ordered it before they could muck with anything. I ordered that little set Bill of Rights, the Constitution. I got it from Washington. Okay, so today in LA, protesters are playing Hana, Hanoi, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, to the National Guard. There's a big smiley face, so that looks like a fun one. Today, hundreds of thousands of us continue boycotting Amazon, Walmart, Target, and others, causing huge disruption to their earnings. There's so much happening out there in resistance that you just don't hear about on classic media anymore. Yeah, absolutely. And because of new things that come up all the time, we kind of stopped talking about anything we talked about yesterday, which is why I wanted to do that session with Virginia Giuffre to make sure that we keep that issue front and center as much as possible. I'll post that episode here. I'm not going to remember which episodes I said I post. Giuffre, Coffee with Karen. Okay, I got it. All right, let's see, one more. Okay, so somebody had said, so Amy, 55522, hi Amy, hanging by a thread, question mark. I think so, and it's a good thing. And it's a good thing. We can't change anything if it's not. Okay? Scary, yes, but going into a new paradigm is a good thing. I have faith that all is exactly what the universe has planned for us. Nothing changes with status quo. Time for us to be a little uncomfortable, right? How amazing is that? Time for us to be a little uncomfortable. Yep, I love it. So there was quite a long comment. I'll maybe read that another time. So, okay. So, oh, it's already 34 minutes. Boy, can I just blabber on. All right, you guys. Was I gonna do the energy report right now? I guess I'll do that separate. All right, you guys, have an amazing day. I'm gonna go try to attempt to do something with my very fine hair and probably go for a walk. And I love this cooler weather. It's so beautiful. All right, have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.